Have you ever made one of those Pinterest-worthy, beautiful mood boards and then immediately afterwards looking at it felt more stuck than actually inspired? Same. But I found when I'm creating a collection that my mood board isn't just decoration, it helps me to make decisions. So this is how I build a mood board that actually moves my creative projects forward. Broken out in just 3 easy steps: research, visualize, edit, and evolve. I'm Lee Thayer, a self-taught fashion designer and fiber artist, which means I'm kind of figuring it out as I go. And right now I'm getting back into working on my first collection, which means it's mood board time. Now, this isn't a tutorial about creating a mood board that's gonna look good on Substack or Pinterest. It's about using a mood board as part of the process of creating something, which for me is how to turn scattered ideas into actual physical garments. That's how I use it, and honestly, a lot of designers do the same. It's not about being pretty, it's about capturing the ideas and clarity. And this is just my process. It's not a rule book. So take what works for you, leave what doesn't. And if you have any tips that I don't cover, please drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear your approach for this as well. A good mood board doesn't just appear out of thin air. It starts with your research. I'll pull anything that sparks my inspiration: nature, historical fashion, other art, architecture, random things I'll see when walking around. Any place is a valid starting point. There's a concept called primary research, which is first-hand experience, which basically just means getting off the internet. And yes, everything is on the internet these days, so that's a little bit harder to do. But let's say it's getting beyond Pinterest and looking a little bit further. And we can't always get to an art museum, but we can always be curious whenever you're looking at something or reading about it. Try to go further, try to explore more. Taking notes and just capturing things in your regular life, taking photos and saving them for later, can make finding some of those nuances and things you want to explore in the beginning of your research way easier. I keep old sketches, old swatches, and then we'll pull from them and reference them, and of course lots and lots of books. Some of my favorite inspiration for my latest collection came from a book that I discovered relating to textiles, which is a particular interest of mine, and then where I currently live in Germany. When we talk about primary research, it isn't just about having access to first-hand things. The goal of it, really, which is all we should care about, is trying to ensure that things are personal to you and that you'll have a unique perspective on them. And your research will be better if you're able to tie concepts to your individual experience, not just like have a bunch of ideas that are popular pins on Pinterest that you're chasing down. That's why I really like having books that are out of print. They're great to look at because you'll find things that no algorithm is ever gonna show you. Once I've gathered all that raw input material, it's time to visualize it and turn it into something that I can actually work with. That can be as simple as printing things out and pinning them to a board, but it doesn't have to stop there. For me, it usually turns into a bit more of a creative exploration. That might mean sketching out a silhouette, testing out a fabric swatch with a reference image, or even a true swatch of a technique that an image might have sparked in my head. Here's a great example. This is a still from a video I took in New York City of this gal wearing this insane jacket that had the coolest, like really specific kind of carpet-like texture I couldn't stop thinking about. So one of the first things that I did was I actually made a swatch and tested out the technique. That just opened up the potential when I kept looking at this image to see what I might be able to do with it. I don't necessarily have a rhyme or reason when I'm putting ideas together. The goal is to try to tease out ideas within the mood board. So I'll group things knowing that that's probably going to change, but it's part of that process of just getting those ideas out of your head and onto something that you can look at for the future. The point here isn't to make something perfect. It's to take these loose ideas and start turning them into a language that you or your team can easily understand and actually put to use in your design process. A mood board for a creative process shouldn't be something that you just like set and forget. You should constantly be editing it and letting it evolve. As your ideas shift and evolve, your mood board should too. I love to move things around. Group ideas, swap swatches. If two things that feel like total opposites, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I'll actually try to link them together and see what new ideas might come out of that very unexpected pairing. And as your project develops, keep bringing those ideas back to the mood board. Add new elements, pull things off, move things around. It only enhances the flow of your creative process. And some things naturally won't make the cut. That doesn't mean it was a waste of your time putting them on there or capturing that idea. Make sure you save those for later, because that just might be the perfect starting off point for your next project and your next creative mood board. And here's a bonus. If you keep track of all those changes as your project evolves, you photograph it, you add it back to the mood board, that first idea, the sketch, the swatches, it basically turns into a portfolio of your process. For example, our idea with the jacket and the swatch then became a much bigger swatch combined with a textile influence and some abstract shapes turned into actual physical pieces and designs that I've not only been able to bring to life, but I've also captured the entire evolution of here on my mood boards. That's how I use mood boards, not as just a pretty piece of wall art, but as an actual tool to help me bring my ideas to life. If you've got any mood board tricks or any stories of how a mood board either made or potentially derailed a creative project, I want to hear about it. Drop it in the comments below. And if you want to follow along as I build this whole collection from scratch, I mean, we already have a pretty good start going. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and the little bell right with it. The board is just the beginning. We're actually bringing these pieces to life. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Help me bring ideas